like Candace Owens,
We're starting.
and it went to this whole thing, this theory crafting of, oh well, it wasn't the being on his neck that was the problem. It was the fentanyl, and I was like,
Jesus Christ.
and I'm like, listen, I hate because I hate when people talk shit about it, but like at the same time, like, again, you I don't know why you even went to that direction.
That's just like, well, we'll get right into the Hellena Taylor. We're gonna start with it.
Yeah, go for it. Believe all women, y'all.
There's fucking people trying to say, not only is 15,000 not fair for a start, like a main lead role in a popular franchise, but some people were saying 100,000. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Sorry, I'm trying not to swear. We're gonna try not to swear this podcast.
I like how we had this conversation beforehand, and you immediately were like, "Hey, don't apply to me, dog."
But and it's like, it doesn't. If it was 4,000, then people are like, oh yeah, it should have been more. 10, 15. Now it's 10, 15. That's not enough for Bayonetta. And last week tried to be as fair and level-headed as possible. This week the gloves are coming off. this is some bullshit. And
who was motherfucking right? That's the point I'm trying to make. I don't give a fuck what nobody else saying. Hey, Robert, I don't give a fuck what nobody else.
Let's bring up some tweets. Let's bring up some tweets, y'all.
Hey, Robert.
Hello.
What's up? Let me share my screen.
That's a nice.
Start an activity. What is that?
That's a nice case, sir. Where the fuck do you get that case from?
That's shout out to customgamecases.com. If they want to sponsor me, hey man, go ahead.
That look nice as fuck, man.
It's an amazing case, bro. I always recommend them. Look at this.
That's nice. That's
great.
All right.
Why don't you get the ones that are in the orientation of N64 games? That's what I did.
I know. Yeah, I know. GC bought and then they come like this, so it looks like the actual orientation. I'm a stingy man. I open it this way. I like seeing it this way. Like that.
Hey man, look, everybody got their thing.
Yeah, and then on the side, so you have it to display it.
Yeah.
How cool is that, man?
That's nice.
No, I mean, well, that's also on your cover too. But I'm just I love since you have it in the back.
All right, so we're getting right into the Bayonetta shit. So this was Sunday, 6:03 a.m. I woke up on Sunday at 6 to see this fucking story. Maybe I saw it Saturday. Yeah, I saw it Saturday. I wanted to think about it. So I put out a tweet. Just a reminder that when we as humans tell our side of the story, we have a tendency to leave out some info/details, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, that makes ourselves sound better in a given situation. I've done it, you've done it, so let's keep that in mind. Tell me that doesn't fucking pertain to last night's fucking info we got. Conveniently left out the initial insult offer of 10,000 out the door, or full, for just total price, followed up by after the freaking letter, she made it sound like they came back with 4,000 after the letter, and I don't care what anybody tries to break this down. She didn't lie. She just left out truth. That's a lie. She made it sound like they're
leaving out of truth. Yeah, that's literally a lie.
She made it sound like
withholding evidence.
The new offer was the 4,000. So that made me think that the original offer was like 3,000, 2,500, something like that.
Nope, it's 10.
Bullshit. So anyway, that's the danger of exactly what I said. Leave out little details. Make yourself sound better. And then I replied, anyway, I'm just a guy who doesn't like to draw conclusions based on limited info, so I'm going to be silent. This was the next day, until we get more information in the coming days, weeks. In the meantime, I advise people stop and think a bit before prosecuting any parties involved. And I did get a little bit of a pushback, nothing major. T kind of made a joke about people creating narratives to feel better about their purchase. Literally, I just said what's a known. I mean, it's not talked about a lot, but that's just human nature. I mean, anytime you tell a story, you could easily leave out one little detail that would incriminate you, and you know it, so you don't say it. So let's see. Oh, I deleted the one tweet. I wish I hadn't. where I said that that was very low class of her, talking about boycotting the potential spin-off, and that Jennifer Hale, what she didn't name, was not allowed to be Bayonetta. And I got a lot of kickback from that. Be called a corporate shill, and standing up for a corporation over a person, and it's just bullshit. And even in the chat, I told you guys, I came up with some theories. We kind of were talking back and forth that first day. I think it was me, Robert, and Clocked It the most, with Retro chimed in a bit. And I was even coming up with, like, I said something, she was going to make it a way that 4,000 wasn't truly a lie. Somehow it was an offer, but it was obviously not the whole story, and that would be her way to say, I wasn't lying.
Yeah, well, they could say, well, it was for the full game.
And people say that.
Yeah, for a cameo, for a few sentences. You know what I mean?
People are like, well, she didn't lie. It was just half truths. No, she lied. She said that the final the offer he came back with was 4,000. Not the second offer they came back with, not the,
Actually,
and that was after the fact.
The third offer.
Yeah.
And that was them just wanting her in the game, period. Like,
yeah.
And she wouldn't even humor that much. And I'm like, $4,000 for a cameo is actually really good, considering we were having conversations about that being good just for like a base level role.
So here's the funny thing that I didn't see any of the videos I watched, no one really pointed this out, like a little bit. She came out with this information last night on Twitter with this long post. Everybody knows it. We're not going to recap. She literally sounded like she thought she cleared her name with what she said last night. Instead, she actually, like Robert said, she actually confirmed Bloomberg's report of the 15,000, and then the final offer was like a cameo type of thing. She confirmed it, but in her mind, it felt like she thought somehow she was clearing her name.
She's so deluded in thinking that people didn't. That I think she doesn't realize that she lied in the first videos, and then was like, "Well, now I'm just clarifying that I didn't actually lie," while also confirming that I did lie.
But she didn't even say that. Hey, I was mislead. She didn't even acknowledge that that first video anything was false. All she did was say that she was countering.
There's a lot of people trying to slander her, trying to slime her. And then she said there's very powerful people, and there's powerful journalists that are getting the truth. Like, what are you trying to say? Like,
I think OJ made a comment. Like a guy who has a good track record and actually usually calls out the companies.
It's funny because the guy that she's talking about that's apparently powerful,
Jason Schreier.
Corrupt, that is apparently, he's the one that talks about the union busting. He talks about the toxic workplaces.
He reports against the companies when they're, so it just shows a complete lack of knowledge. And another thing she lied about was the $450 million or whatever the franchise is worth. Yeah, she brought that up again. And
profit, $450 million profit. Come on.
No, that it doesn't matter. That game would have to be full price, sell like $9 million at $60 to even come. But that's not how it works, because everybody knows that majority of, I think it was PS3 or 360, the games had a second life at $20 or whatever. So you assume maybe half, and even then it's not. Game hasn't sold 6 million. The first game was about 1 million on PS3, 900,000 on Xbox. And if you count it,
saying like 450 million. If she's talking about, if you talk,
I think she got to be talking about profit. I think it's got to be profit.
That's crazy. Like, there's no way.
Even if you just take the net $60 game times 9 million is how you get to 450. Or no, that's 540. What's 848? So just under 8 million at $60. That's the only way you get anywhere near that, and that's not right, because the game, you can't count Bayonetta 1 and 2 bundle on Wii U. That's just Bayonetta 2 sales that Bayonetta 1 was included in. So you got Bayonetta 2 did like,
and then you got that recent
1.7. Bayonetta 2 and did 1.7 on Switch and Wii U combined.
Did it do 1.7? I thought they 1.4.
Combined.
1.0
combined Wii U and Switch. The game
probably 1.8.
The first game is about 2 million combined on 360 PS3. So that's 3.7-ish, we'll say. Then it launched on PC, probably, best case scenario, I'd say a million.
100,000.
I think
Maybe
500,000.
a million. We'll say a million.
500,000. We'll give it a
Well,
million.
let's just
That's,
stretch it. Let's say it's a million. Even then.
then
yeah, it's still under what she's.
did it come out
implying.
on PS3 or PS4 in series?
The Vanquish
with
You talking about
with
the
Vanquish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even then,
There's a bundle with
it's
Vanquish.
So she.
I don't think it's out here killing. I don't think that really so like crazy though.
And there's a YouTuber from Michigan. He is part of a law firm, and he makes videos on video game topics like this based on from a lawyer's perspective. He doesn't get into the laws, but he talks about presenting information. And he went into how she keeps spinning the narrative by bringing up the 200 people are saying this enormous, ridiculous thing about that I asked for 250,000. No, they said 6 figures, which you didn't deny. Clearly didn't deny the 6 figures.
That's also another spinning the truth, like I was saying.
And there was one other little element that was like very sneaky. And then she brought up how, in 2011, she's basically been promoting Bayonetta to the people. And she, as a way of her saying that that's why she deserved more, because she's been promoting this game series and getting new games. Like, how?
At like conventions or something.
By talking to people every once in a while, like, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it wasn't like she was going to cons like that. Like, she wasn't doing anything.
She said she went to one and she put all the money to charity. But Sandstorm, it's it's Hugh, I think like Hugh Law Firm, but there's is it Virtual Legality or something's the YouTube channel if you want to check it out. It's it's a little less, it's not really opinion based. He just kind of breaks it down. I wish there was a little more law in the discussion, actually, like the legality of her potentially breaking NDAs and stuff, but
I think the most infuriating part about this whole situation on top, because realistically, ironically enough, this has done nothing but help the game, all things considered.
That's a good thing.
The most negative it's been is just misrepresenting voice actors who generally have issues with getting proper pay and royalties and all that other fun stuff. You've diluted the conversation because of how toxic and how flawed this particular situation is. Because people are like, well, we should have an honest talk about those things. I'm like, yeah, we should, but not about this, because this is a poor representation of the argument you're trying to have.
Well, here's the other thing. Sorry, I just read a comment and lost my train of thought. Goddamn, continue.
Okay, well, I was gonna say is that like, so what aggravates me is that, and then on top of that, for some reason, people online were like, I don't want to take the L about being wrong about this woman. And if you've seen my stream from, what was it, Friday, I kind of went on one of those particular YouTubers who then all of a sudden got angry at the Nintendo community because he got roasted for being wrong. And he was like, you guys are toxic. You guys are evil.
I'm not even buying the game now because you Nintendo weirdo was like, get the fuck out of here.
He was like, I'm not getting the game now. I'm like, so what it sounds like is that you still want to believe her, and out of spite, you're still going to do the thing she told you to do.
I thought I watched some of his videos before, but I did not recognize him.
He's been through some
Dreamcast
shit.
Guy. That guy sounded like a fucking whiny ass bitch. Like, and then you could tell he was lying. And I was getting death threats. Like, no, you weren't.
What?
You wouldn't have to pause to think about what you were going to say next. If you were getting death threats,
he very much holds on to that. And when you look through so to give context, he actually unlisted his original video, so you can't actually go watch it unless you had
which
it.
Is actually, we can go ahead. Sorry. I think it's a good thing because then it's.
I'm of two minds with it.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
I'm of two minds with it. I could see the point of it being a good thing that you enlisted, but considering how much shit talking he was talking about, the negativity he got for that video, I'm like, well, I would like to go see.
Did he at least leave a link in the below for his original video?
No,
I would do that personally.
The only way people found it is because if they had favorited the video before, the link still works because the video isn't deleted. It's just unlisted. So so I got sent the link to it and I listened to it and I went through some of the comments, and based on the comments I see, which are all from the day he released it, they were like 4 or 5 days ago, they were just like, bro, you're wrong, or bro, I'm not boycotting the game. Most of his comments were pretty logical and respectful. Now, I'm not trying to deny that he never got death threats because technically I didn't go through. I didn't go through his.
He didn't.
Hey, listen,
I'm sure he did. There's the internet. He probably got some dude that said, "Man, fuck you, dude. Kill yourself, man. Who the fuck are you?" My problem is that I feel like
I feel like he's using it as an excuse to do exactly.
He's doing what Helena's
she
doing.
wants to do.
He's looking for pity. He's looking for sympathy.
And I'm like, bro, I don't feel bad for you because you went out of your way to make such a ridiculous
and also,
stance
I'm sorry, you
off of like
really
no
don't care about the
information.
game if you're not gonna buy it all of a sudden because
And don't
someone
blame.
else said something.
Oh, I'm not gonna play or review any Nintendo games. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, this is.
Here's a fun fact I found out later. Some of the people in the comments told me. So when Pokemon Let's Go came out, he was like, "I'm not reviewing that. I'm not gonna review it." And then like the week of it releasing, there was a review out for it, and they were like, "Well, what the fuck, man? You said you weren't gonna buy it.
You can't give up that Pokemon money."
My girlfriend bought it for me. I'm like,
"Oh,
bitch!
Subscriber gave it to me. I traded in some games. I didn't buy it."
Yeah, look at the fuck. I hate that leap in logic to still do what you want. And I already told him, if I hear or see that he has a Bayonetta 3 review within the next week, that's his fucking ass. We're not even playing this game. I'm not about to let this man get away with a bunch of lies.
Oh, Susie the Sphere Hunter, she's been on it. She even posted this is aged poorly of her own tweet. That's how you do it. I mean,
take the L.
Take the L. She admitted. She said she's gonna do a review. She already has had this artwork because she was excited about the game, and yeah, she jumped the gun. Some people just like the drama, man. Some people like planting their flag in the ground, taking a side, getting excited, typing away on their phones and stuff. And I mean, I got in it with some people, and because I just so I guess disappointed and not really angry, but just like worked up over what people were just taking it as absolute fact. Her initial videos, I'm like, hold up. Like,
well, because you got to remember, even, I mean, look, when the very, very initial first thing, I was even like, damn, oh man. And even you, Juice, you were like, oh shit, I'm double taking on maybe
greedy ass Nintendo was my first thought. Greedy ass
like,
Nintendo
fuck.
being
like,
greedy.
What is this? But then when you start to like break it down, you hear the second and you start to really think about it. You really said, a day passes by, you start thinking about what she's saying, and you're like, I don't know. A lot of it sounds a little odd.
And I said, I pointed out how it really felt like, and I felt bad saying this last week. I don't remember if I said it on air or not. It felt like she was regretful of the way her career has gone, bringing up how much schooling she had and how much she's perfected her craft and worked in, not Broadway, what's it called? Theater. Bringing all that in the tone of her voice, I'm like, she's disappointed. Bringing up she don't have anything, they can't sue her, they can just take her clothes. Like, sounded like a person who was
frustrated,
kind of reflecting on their entire career not going the way they wanted. Because let's just be real, there's however many successful actors there are, there's probably, for every one, there's at least probably 1,000 that never made it and are just going back to doing regular jobs. Did I all see the tweet? I don't know. That's pretty vague, Lightning.
Which tweet, man? There's
been
a lot of tweets.
I want to talk about another thing, though. When the Bloomberg report came out, I didn't just take that as fact right away. Like a lot of people. Now, it turned out to be right for the most part. I don't know if you want to say what percentage. That same day, she lied. They all took that as fact. I'm like, hold up. I said, that sounds a little too convenient, but thank you, Hellena Taylor, for basically verifying that information. So that cleared it all up. Perfect. Right in time for the game to come out,
My thing is this. Even if my issue wasn't even whether or not the Bloomberg stuff was true. It was the fact that I was like, how are you going to respond to this? Because if it isn't
first she said it was an outright lie.
She said it was outright lie, but I'm like, what?
But then she says outright, and she says, I want this whole franchise behind me already.
That's what fucking bothered me.
That's when I knew.
I'm like, wait a minute.
You're the one that brought it up.
You're the one who caused all this shit, and now all of a sudden you're like, oh, I want it behind me. That's what got me suspicious. Because I'm like, wait a minute.
All
right, Lightning.
Your whole goal was to spite. Your whole goal was to spite this big company and corporation for screwing you out of a deal that you chose not to take. And then all of a sudden, some information comes out that says, well, I don't think she's telling the whole truth about how much she was being offered. And she's like, well, I just want to put this behind me.
Yeah.
That don't sound right, man.
You're about to be caught in a white lie, man. What's going on?
And then essentially she goes, well, I think I've heard some people been telling some lies about me. So let me tell you the real truth. Oh, that you were lying. Oh, okay.
Yeah, let me tell you the real
So, Lightning,
truth,
what do you
which
mean
is
by
this
recent?
report right here. This is the real thing. What I said is not real.
I'll go.
No.
I'll go check the. I'll
Lightning
go
says
check
there's
this.
a recent tweet. Well, how recent is recent?
No,
I'm
no,
gonna-
I
I'm
think
gonna
it's
go
I think
check.
it's what I think he's
I'm gonna go
about.
double check
It's
The
what we're
ones
talking
from
about.
last
It's
night.
yeah,
The one where she listed her 14 charities after saying that's what she donated from signing autographs.
And then
I
so
don't
not
believe
only that, but you know how like she says, I've heard ridiculous things that it's
Like
250,000. I really think what the reason she's not saying she's avoiding the
Yeah.
six figures is because that's what she asked. She asked 100,000.
Exactly.
She
To me,
probably has
that
100.
confirms. And yeah, I
And
could.
again, twisting that truth where like she's not saying she didn't. She asked for six figures, but she definitely didn't ask for 250,000.
To me, and I hate after
thing.
what I just said about not waiting for all the information. The way she did that was a way to deflect from the six figure part of that story. So that confirms for me she asked for at least 100, if not.
That's what I'm saying. To me,
120,
the fact that she said
150.
it, she asked for 100,000.
And she keeps saying that that's a fair and reasonable wage for a week's worth of work. Get the fuck out of here. Sorry, I got to swear on that one.
Dude, a life, or she said a living wage, and remember, plus residuals probably.
You know how many years I have to work for 100,000? Fucking
almost
that's
crazy. That's that's most people's salaries. Like the fuck?
Almost 2 years.
That's the most 2 years salaries for people.
Yeah.
So it's like.
Luckily, I live in a place where money goes a lot farther. My house payment's $620 a month, so I mean it goes a lot farther.
The average.
I hate when you bring it up,
at least
man. It makes me
American is like 50,000.
If
So
I had,
like
if
that
I
would be
made
2
what I
years.
made and had to live where Robert lives on my own, I wouldn't be able to do it. So,
yeah, it's all location is key. Everyone.
So
yeah,
this whole thing is just so bizarre. Like I said earlier, she really come across like she thought she cleared her name, and all she did was confirm Bloomberg's report. It just blows my mind. And then the whole part, where she's like, "Yeah, then they offered me 4,000 to read some lines." It's like, what? Like that's exactly what they said. They said insane. Cameo. Sorry, they said, and then she goes, "It was a lie when they said they just fabricated 5 sessions of 4,000." Oh, the 5 sessions part's wrong. Oh no, maybe no, there wasn't an.
It was 6.
But you were still yeah. But you were still essentially
maybe
the average out.
No,
like
but but I want to remind people that it said 5 sessions, but in the
it said 3 to 4.
It said at least.
So it said 15. And
so
I remember what I was gonna say a while back. This bitch has the audacity. I want them to Jennifer Hale to redo the voices from 1 and 2 and replace her and let us.
Oh,
yeah. She had the audacity to talk about an insulting offer as she's getting way more than the average person gets by like a lot. Like, was it 4 to 5 times?
4 times amount.
Way more. Imagine you're fucking. God dang! I gotta try not to swear because YouTube said videos weren't ad friendly.
Like he said it, and he's the one having the biggest problem with it.
Imagine if you're Rodon, voice actor, who probably it looks like he has, he has a lot of lines in 2. Or,
oh, you got $5 donation.
What's up? Buddy? How do you say that?
He walked.
LW.
No, was that L or I? I thought it was Iwaki.
Iwaki.
I don't know.
Mispronunciation.
Thanks for the $5. I've never seen the name before, so I guess thanks for jumping in.
Appreciate the support, silent or otherwise.
Let me get my point out, though. Before I forget it again. Imagine Luca, voice actor, who probably could potentially, or Viola, hearing that, and they've got like 2,000 or 3,000 or 4,000, and finding out that she got offered 15 after she asked for more and thought that was offensive. Like, how bad does it make Helena look when she got way more than probably everybody else? And, maybe for a lead role, maybe you should get paid more. But how does that going to make the rest of the voice cast feel?
My thing is this. She's acting like she's like this high tier voice acting celebrity. Like it's not like her name is as synonymous as like Troy Baker. Like everyone knows who Troy Baker is when you're talking about, or Nolan North or even Tara Strong. You know who you could, if you got
Ashley,
that level,
is it Ashley or Laura Bailey?
Yeah, Laura
Ashley
Bailey.
Johnson.
If you got that list of credits and the work you put in all these shows, you can become that voice actor who can justify be like, hey, I want to make $50K or I want to make $100K. But you literally have done nothing else But this game
Imagine
that already isn't like a crazy like 20 million seller.
Imagine you thinking you deserve 100K for what could be 4 days, 4 hour days.
I'd be ready to swing
5 4-hour days. Are you freaking kidding me? Like, this isn't just about how much Bayonetta could make, because Nintendo paid platinum.
You're part of the game, like you're.
What about what about the artist who came up with Bayonetta's design? How much of that? I think it was a female. How much did that woman get paid? How much do the animators get paid? Like, it's so bullshit.
Well, yeah, but there's a motion capture for like the Bayonetta dance and everything.
Yeah.
That woman. What about
Plus,
her?
I said last week, there's 8 other Bayonettas in different languages. There's 9 Rodans. There's 9 Violas. There's 9 Lucas. They have to pay all those people. Nintendo just gives Platinum probably a really low budget for what they should be getting. Probably like 4 or 5 million for a game that probably would be 10 million if Sony or Microsoft was paying for it.
If Sony and Microsoft, I would bet you it would be like 50 million.
And it probably
they'd be dropping like the AAA Sony games. They'd be dropping 100 million.
Imagine, I mean, this is gonna take this. I know Robert has clocked it when he's watching this. Imagine Bayonetta 3 looking like that Project Eve game, like visually. What is it?
Stellar Blade.
Stellar Blade. Imagine Bayonetta 3 looking like that, but playing just like Bayonetta 2 or as good as Edellock 60. Like, anyway, it's just ridiculous.
You'll get that in just another 3 generations.
By then, it won't even look good. You know, by then.
Oh, come on, no.
Your standards will have been raised.
No, because
PS5 games for the PS5 can never not look good. That'd be.
I've said that. I've heard people say that about PS4. Heard it say about PS3.
Well, PS4 games.
Heard
look
it
good.
saying about PS2. Come on,
man.
I heard it saying about Sega CD. So look at
well, again, these are more Nintendo games, but look at all these great looking Wii games and Wii games from Nintendo specifically. They look great, man. They look great.
They don't look
Mario Galaxy, man. Come on. Mario
Galaxy doesn't look as great as Odyssey.
But it doesn't mean it looks bad. No, it looks great still. In the end of the day.
At some point, Galaxy's gonna look bad.
And that's
no way.
No.
If you look at the Wii version only, you're gonna be like, yeah, that looks bad. If you look at the Switch version,
here's something that might throw you off. There is a voice actor in Bayonetta already who is more well known than Hellena Taylor. You know who it is? It's the guy who voices.
Oh.
It's the guy who voices Luca. You know why? You know where you know him from? Yeah, you know why? If you're an anime fan, if you're a game fan, you know him from Spider-Man. He voices Spider-Man in the new Spider-Man games.
And Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
He's been voicing Spider-Man for a while actually. If you look
back. Great.
And if you're an anime fan, you know him as Sasuke from Naruto. But still, like the dude, to me, he is more well known than Hellena Taylor.
Because he could. How much did Spider-Man sell? Like 20-something million.
Yeah.
He could say,
exactly.
I want some more money.
Let me read you guys some. Let me read you some credits here. I gotta find a site that just lists her.
Bro, that's one game of Spider-Man that did 27 million.
Well, then he also voiced him in Miles Morales, and I don't know how much Miles sold.
Let's say half, but I don't know.
Still, that's a lot.
No, of course. I'm not saying like, I mean half as in like, damn.
Yeah, of course.
Well, 10 million. I don't know if it's actually 10 million.
All right, so I'm gonna read you some things and from somebody that's in Bayonetta, and you guess who the voice actor is. The Simpsons for looks like 3 seasons, a bunch of characters. Young Justice for 11 years, a bunch of characters. She was in The Boys? I didn't know that.
Oh, she was in The Boys. Okay.
Sorry. I got distracted. There's a bunch of like Curious George.
Curious George the movie? I like
a series from 2006 to 2022. Star Wars: The Old Republic game.
Viola.
Star Trek: The Star Wars: The Old Republic game.
Viola.
Damn.
No,
I'm trying to find the bigger stuff. Well, let's say Avatar: The Last Airbender, seasons 2 and 3. She's got so many freaking credits, it's ridiculous.
Is that John's?
Jean's voice actress. Yeah, Gray Griffin is, I think, her name now.
That would make sense. Now I think about her voice does.
She voiced Azula. I know Robert watched. I don't know if
Yeah.
Terrell's seen Avatar recently.
I know.
I didn't know she also
I know who
voiced
Azula is. I know who Azula is. I've heard her voice. That dog. How did I never notice that? Holy shit, that's crazy.
She's my favorite
She's in
voice.
The voice.
She's my favorite voice. Period. When
It's
she,
a very
her
they found,
Azula
like, two
and Jean are very
husky,
similar.
sexy voices. Good God.
She just has. I mean, Skylanders game, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, played Captain Marvel. Lego DC superheroes, play Wonder Woman.
See, it's crazy to me
Destiny
that Helena.
2.
That Helena has all this talk shit, and I'm like, bro, you're almost
played
half the
Catwoman.
voice actors of the other actors you work with are well known, are more well known and prolific.
They've been active throughout
Guardians of the Galaxy
Yes!
TV
8
series.
years.
What the hell is that? Oh,
What is it?
Only 3 episodes. She played Captain Marvel. She's done Captain Marvel, Catwoman, and Wonder Woman in multiple different games and shows, animated movies, World of
That doesn't
Warcraft,
surprise me.
Star Wars, The Old Republic, Knights of the Eternal Throne. She just played bounty hunter female. That's kind of a lame credit. But
Also,
she
it's kinda
probably
fun-
made
I
a couple thousand for just doing that.
I did go back and start looking at some of Yuri Lowenthal's work. I forgot he's the dub voice for Marth in Fire Emblem, and he also does it.
Really?
And yeah, that's Marv's English voice is him, and then he also does he's in the Wonderful 101, so he's worked with Platinum before. So like
He's worked with Nintendo in general multiple times.
It's crazy.
We
It's
got
fucking-
another
he-
person in here, Static Shattuck. That's the first time. Welcome to the podcast.
I feel like I've seen that name before.
No, I've heard
But, I-
Static before. Hold
Static
on.
Shattuck with just an S and a red.
Oh yeah, he's come in my thing.
Okay,
He's
I've
in,
never seen him in
he's-
Juices Loose. So
Yeah, he's been in my streams.
Yo,
but
this
know
I
Static.
didn't realize this guy. Look at this guy. I was looking at Yuri. This guy legit.
yeah, these
He's like
people.
the new voice of Spider-Man. You know, this guy in terms of the games. This guy, look, he's in Midnight Suns, Spider-Man.
Oh
2.
no, he's been voicing Spider-Man for.
He's
a while.
literally
Like,
Spider-Man now.
I
Apparently,
think he's like Web of Shadows and all the older ones too.
I gotta say that's pretty impressive to hold down the game.
But see, that's all you gotta do. You just get different roles. And when you go, if we go look up Hellena Taylor, you know what? Fuck it, let's go look her up again.
That's
why
actually
not?
really impressive because think about it, like essentially in terms of the movies, you got a whole bunch of them, but in terms of video games, he held that shit down. He's like, no, I'm Spider-Man, motherfucker.
Hey
God
man,
damn.
listen. That's what you
I'm
do.
really surprised with that, to be honest with you.
That's exactly what you do though. That's
Oh, he was in
exactly.
Call
what
of the Sea. That was a
Why
good
can't I hear
game.
this?
He was Harry. Harry.
Oh, here we go. I don't know if the chat can hear.
Greetings.
He was in The
This is
Last of
Princess
Us
Azula
Part
of the
2,
Fire Nation,
additional
and
voice.
I've got a
He was in
public
a
service
Final
message.
Fantasy VII Remake,
Don't set the
Johnny.
It's weird watching
Oh,
a
I know.
voice actor do the voice on video. It's just
Yeah.
weird, but it's kind of loud and noisy.
This
is
yeah,
her-
She's at the con.
But this her Azula.
Greetings. This is Princess Azula of the Fire Nation, and I've got a public service message. Don't set the world on fire. Make it your bitch instead.
And that's how you.
Nice.
That is how you keep making money off a character you voice acted. Now I have got to throw a little shade at Gray because she admitted she's never watched the show until now that her kids are a little bit older, and I'm like,
Oh yeah.
really, you're not gonna watch the show that, like, you had to voice one character in 2 out of the 3 seasons? It just blows my mind that some of these actors won't watch their
Yeah,
own
you would
stuff.
think
Some of them
you think
don't.
especially like it. I could understand like video games are tough because if you're voicing like I'm looking
And
at
if you're not a
Yuri guy.
gamer, you're not
This
gonna want
guy-
to play
this guy-
through.
This guy voiced in 2019 alone. He did like it looked like 12, 13 projects.
Now I want
So
to.
you're not gonna play all those games likely.
So
and
we
not
kind of
gonna
got off
watch all of
the beaten
No.
path here.
But
Point
I'm
is,
about to
there's
get-
been a lot
wait,
of people
I want to.
in the
real
game
quick.
that have way better.
I just want to put this in
Resumes.
context. So I decided to look up Hellena Taylor. I'm like, all right. So what's the last couple things you've done?
No,
The
I
last couple things you've done that
I
aren't
was like,
Bayonetta. So if we go from when she
aren't
first,
Bayonetta.
yeah, there aren't
That's wild.
Bayonetta and recently, not
Recent.
a damn thing. She literally hasn't done anything for like 8 years. If we go between Bayonetta, her voice is Smash, Bayonetta 2, Smash, the anime OVA she did, and then she plays Bayonetta and Anarchy Reigns because I forgot
That's
she had a-
2012. Yeah.
yeah. The
Oh, yeah.
only other thing,
Okay,
and the only
sorry.
other gaming thing I see is fucking Dragon Age.
Dragon Age Origins.
Dragon Age was the only other thing. So after
Oh.
once she did the first Bayonetta, you had I guess another TV show or something, and then you
No.
had Dragon Age, and then Dragon Age is the only other other video game she's tried to do stuff for.
Well, before it looks like she did a couple more. Valkyrie.
Oh yeah, she did. Oh yeah,
Profile,
she did
The
some
Golden
games, actually.
Compass, Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, she did some stuff before, but it seems like it's like after she did Bayonetta, she kind of didn't do anything else.
And how do you
for a while.
not? She said she didn't feel right taking money for autographs. Like,
Yeah, I did look that up. I saw she.
is
put it on
that
her
true?
Twitter.
We can't believe anything she says now. So
That is true. You fucked your.
here's
credibility.
something. I wonder how many people here have this. I'm gonna hold
What?
it up, and then you guys tell me if you've seen it or have it.
Yeah, I have that.
You have it? I don't have
Bayonetta
it.
Bloody Fate.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
Basically, it's
anime.
just the exact same story. It retells the first game.
When
Yeah,
did you get that?
That was
Right around the time Bayonetta 2 came out. So I watched this
Oh,
right
really?
after finishing Bayonetta 1.
It came out the year before, actually.
And it was
came
very-
out in 2013.
I was like, damn, I already just watched the story while I played the game. I haven't rewatched it since. I'm going to.
It's an abridged version of it.
I imagine she got paid a decent amount for a feature film.
Yeah, it's an actual.
I wouldn't say
technically-
that, because the reason why I'm going to say that is because that's a glorified OVA. That's
You don't think she got like 15 grand for this or something?
No,
I think. Well, no, but you got to remember. There's.
I mean,
again, in
all
terms
she's
of the
doing is the
SAG,
dub.
SAG-AFTRA, but to be fair, this is 2013 we're talking. We're not talking like 2018, 2017. But they apparently the actual it's higher for movies and stuff. So she probably would have gotten paid more for
And
that.
here's why she
I
thinks
would
here's
argue
why she
she
thinks
did.
she deserves more money. She thinks that's her picture there. She thinks that's her picture right there of her. I'm telling you right now, everything she's said tells me she thinks that this is her.
Oh no, definitely.
She thinks that's her face, and she's not getting paid for any of this because
But
she
here's the
signed
thing
deal.
she talks about. She brings the whole. Well, that's how much she's making without including merch. And I went and I was like, well, you know what? Let me go see how
It
much
can't be
merch
that much
Bayonetta.
merch.
I'm like, how much Bayonetta merch is? I'll tell you this: when it comes to like figures and shit, you can't even find a Bayo 2 figure. I've only seen
there isn't
Bayo
any.
1 figure. They haven't done any crazy sculptures like those high-end figures that are like $100.
I watched a video on a guy painting the from the first game, and it's a pretty big figure.
Oh no, it is. But that figure is from 2013. It's not even from like it's not even one of our.
I doubt there's
new
hardly
figure.
any merch selling.
No,
from
there's
that
not.
game.
Officially, there's not.
That's
at
the
all.
other aspect. She's probably bummed that she is the lead character in a game that's not that big. You know, she said it was 450. She has to know it's not this top. It's not. You know, before for this tweets and stuff, we were just talking about the promotion being kind of low for this game. T was saying it. Their ads are pretty pathetic, actually. There's a bunch of them, but it's like the 30-second ads on YouTube are, if you know the game, you understand what you're looking at. If you don't, it's not appealing to somebody who doesn't. There's nothing on screen. There's just music playing. You have no idea, instead of being a cool badass cutscene or something that usually gets people sucked in. It's just this weird. What's up, SK? Welcome back. There's this weird like trailer, and so this really helped the promotion of this game. And there's been so many people that 10 million people watched the video. Most of those people never even probably heard of Bayonetta, let alone were planning on picking up the third game. I heard that lawyer guy say, "Oh, I wasn't planning on picking up because I didn't think the Switch could handle this action game." And like, you know, I mean, I can kind of relate because I was thinking it wasn't gonna be 60, but now that I've seen it, I have no really worries. But there's a bunch of people who are gonna buy this game now that weren't before. And then just to wrap up what we're saying, there's a lot of voice actors in this Bayonetta series that are have way better resumes, way better known. And it just blows my mind. I can't believe if this was her trying to sabotage the game, it backfired, and I can't understand.
I just don't know
why.
what she would have gained from this. I don't know.
Where does she think she had grounds? Like someone pointed out, because you didn't get the amount you wanted, that's grounds for boycott in her mind. Talk about narcissistic, arrogant. And I mean, there's a lot of actors. I've listened to so many interviews. I've watched so many behind the scenes from movies. I've probably seen thousands of interviews of actors. Some of these motherfuckers have their their heads all the way up their asses. They think they are. You can just tell they think they're saving the world with their acting. You know, so I guess I'm not surprised. So I guess what else can we say? Looking forward to picking the game up fucking Friday after work. I might even see if Friday's available.
Sir.
I might see if I can take a half day or something. I started playing Nier, trying to get used to the controls, and I'm hitting the damn circle button, which would be A on the Switch, to dodge because I'm so used to frickin' Demon Souls and Demon Souls and Elden Ring that I'm 2B and I'm sitting there hitting circle to dodge, keep taking hits because it's right trigger just like Bayonetta. So I'm hoping that it ain't gonna take too much to get back into the swing of things. But that latest trailer they put out, then there was a Japanese like overview, showed these ridiculous combos. Game looks ridiculously good.
I'm excited.
All right, Pearly 21. We got a bunch of new names in here. Must be the Bayonetta hype train. thanks, Helena. She got offered something and declined. That's what Retro Death said. Unfortunately, but it is what it is. Something is wrong with her mind just listening to her talk. I thought I didn't want to say it, but I kind of said it, that I thought there's something going on. She was like hitting rock bottom, it kind of felt like.
That's the vibe you get. She just doesn't seem mentally.
But where does she?
No.
I mean, like I said, arrogant, narcissistic. Where does she think her not getting the amount she wanted is worth everyone else boycotting the game? And also, we touched on real quick the.
It's weaponizing your fan base. That's what it is.
Oh shit! Well, I keep losing track. I keep reading the chat, and then I start talking. Then I stop. And
while you're figuring out, but yeah, it's literally weaponizing your fan base. It's like, listen, I can't hurt you anymore as me, but I can use my fans to hurt you and take advantage of the situation.
Yeah.
Go ahead, what you were saying.
And fuck, it's something Robert pointed out, and as soon as like it's there, and then it just evaporates that quick.
Robert, you're a smart guy.
You like 5 minutes ago, or
you brought it up multiple times as a point.
You're a smart guy, Robert. You got
250,000?
No. Something
journalists?
to do with the. It's one of the later things she said in one of the follow-up tweets.
The she's not Bayonetta, I'm Bayonetta.
No, yesterday's ones. Some of the not the main ones, but there was some additional stuff. There's something in there.
You talk about that.
Nothing to do with money.
Powerful industry.
Oh, the journalists.
Yeah.
Basically, we kind of covered it, but just kind of getting back to it. Basically, sounded like they're a powerful company and basically paid for these journalists to say what they said, even though she backed it up. It's just like
and what I find so funny is like she talking about, and someone had a tweet on this. I thought it was so hilarious because it's very true. So she's talking about like low pay for voice actors, and she's like, the guy was like, wait until she hears how much journalists get paid.
Yeah.
These motherfuckers get paid nothing, man. Are you kidding me?
They don't.
Most of them are so low. It's like you gotta get like I remember. So I remember I was trying to get into and then I just honestly did a Hellena Taylor without doing anything. So I applied for like one of these websites for like for like writing articles. And it was a pretty big site, and I'll be anonymous. So I'll say this, but I forgot to tell you guys this. And the offer was, it's like, what was it again? Fuck, it was like every article, you have one article is like $15 or something like that. And I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Are you sure you're saying that right? You want to go on record or say that could be wrong?
Yeah.
Watch, it was 100.
That was like legit. I forgot about that, and that's why like when I she said when I saw that, I thought it was hilarious because like if that's like a starting one, and even like some of the higher ones I'm sure get paid like nothing. They have to write like a million articles. That's why you see all these journalists, and I respect them a lot. I'm a writer at this net. You know, and they write for like 5 different websites. They do 5 articles a day. And for what, like $15. I'm sorry, but sometimes like I don't know, like if you really wanted to write a decent article, you're gonna take your time with it and $15.
You know
You're
what?
fucking
You
crazy,
know what?
man. What the hell what are you gonna do with that shit?
You know what? An easier way to make money is a lot more money. Is you put
What?
on a really tight mini dress and you start cutting some wood on table saws and you record it with cameras. And make sure the cameras are really low, looking up though. And then you're making bank. So that's all you got to do. Forget journalism.
But yeah, I mean, look, journalism, it's a passion for people,
For those
and I
that don't
get
know, that was a
it. Like that's honestly like that's why I get it. But it is true, like you talk about, like there's a lot of people that should be getting paid more. I think I think there's a discussion to be
I
had that
disagree. Unless it's the top tier big narrative games, I don't think Voice and Bayonetta is even worth 15,000. Be honest with you, if it's 4 sessions, if this game is a lot more with all the different Bayonettas and they were gonna have her voice them all and is 5 times the work, okay. If it's still 4-hour sessions, I don't give a shit.
yeah.
Errors, it's called Wood Girl. Look up YouTube Wood Girl. Couple videos, well over 1 million views. Not all of them. I mean,
But
it's just
they're entertaining.
it's worth watching if you appreciate a woman's body and you like a little
and some woodwork.
you like a little woodworking mixed in. But
knock knock.
yeah, it's just I don't honestly, unless you're freaking. Let me
What
think.
about like how much?
Like Ellie and Joel?
This I was gonna say.
They
what
led
else
that
on
game without Ellie and Joel storyline. Most people are going to be like, that's a pretty decent stealth game. Like that's a big part of what people loved about the game. But at the same time, the people who wrote the story, in my mind, should get paid more than the person who voices the character because they are the ones coming up with the lines. Or maybe it should be even. I don't think the actor should get just significantly more than the person who came up with the character visually and came up with the lines and the story. I don't know if Last of Us, I think Neil Druckmann, is it Druckmann? I'm pretty sure it was just him and who took over The Last of Us after Amy Hennig left. I think Uncharted was her thing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, people hate that guy. That story, like the actual character interactions and stuff, that's really powerful stuff. I mean, what video game before it can you name where the very opening sequence is playing as this cute little girl, got a gift for her dad, and then 10 minutes later, you're watching a cutscene of her dying in his arms. Come on, like that was a.
I'm sure Clock would think of it, but I don't know personally. I don't.
That to me, those people should get paid more than the Charles Martinet going woo woohoo. You're just at that point you're just paying him.
That dude's a millionaire though.
But he's done so many movies and so many.
Yeah, he's done so many things. But the whole thing though is that also with The Last of Us and stuff, you got to also remember there's a massive difference between Bayonetta and The Last of Us. Exactly. They're doing the motion capture. They're actually acting. They're acting. They're doing all
those people should get paid significantly more than voiceovers.
And not only that, but it's a lot of story, like a lot more story, a ton more story.
And I guarantee it's more. It's more like instead of 4-hour sessions, it's months of 5-6 day weeks, probably longer sessions. Because I'm sure no one's gonna watch this based on this.
They're a part of the literal development of the game.
If you ever are inclined to hear the perspective of a voice actor, how did I find that? It just popped in my feed because I was watching a Japanese airbrush artist doing like figurines and stuff. The first one was Bayonetta. It must have been the Bayonetta thing. So it popped up. Damn it. What was I just saying right before? I gotta quit reading. I want to keep more active with the chat. Last few podcasts, I feel like I've missed a lot.
You gotta multitasking with that.
And what was I was talking about the VA. Oh, if you want to hear like behind the scenes of what's involved with somebody who does the motion capture and voice, Nicole Tompkins. I think it was on Susie the Sphere Hunters. I don't know if it was YouTube or Twitch. She was playing through Resident Evil 3 while Nicole, who voice acted Jill and did all the motion capture, broke down all like almost the entire game, behind the scenes stories. They lived that shit for, I wouldn't say months for sure. I don't know the exact. That's a short game, so it might have been.
It probably depends on the game.
That one might have been a couple weeks or something. They flew her to Japan. The whole cast. She was one of the daughters in Village, and she's the voice actor for Ashley in Resident Evil 4 Remake. There's a lot involved. Like, they actually, all the facial motion, all the movement motion. She even has to just like do falls, do crouches, do reload animations. They do all that. And beyond just the grunts and the actual, that's an actual acting performance. Not all of them are great. Some people are better than others. I'm sorry to Hellena Taylor, but Bayonetta's not some deep acting performance. You're reading lines with your sexy British voice in sometimes sarcastic ways, which very effective, but that's not acting on the level of Troy Baker having to be Joel losing his daughter. That's not even close. It's not even close. Plus the motion capture. So to me, motion capture, voice acting people should make a significant 2 to 3, 4 times more money than just coming into a booth and recording some lines. That's my opinion. Juice voiceovers really shouldn't do what Helena's done. They should just get more work to fill in the gap. It's like somebody who does artwork by commission. If you're like, oh, I should get paid $50,000 to do this Bayonetta fan art or something that someone commissioned me, so that's a living wage. No, you do 20 of them, you do 30 of them, you do 40 of them, make $1,000 on each one. You do 50 of them. I don't know how long. If you're really quick, some people can do these things in a week. Some people are just so talented.
Now, less crazy.
Don't expect to get that many jobs. If you're gonna take on a voice acting, if that was probably not her plan, but that probably fell into her lap, then get a theater job or try to find a regular job that pays the bills, and then do your voice acting job. There's your bonus for the year or something. That's.
I think the core of the issue boiled down to people. It's obvious that we've gotten to this point in society where everyone's very anti-capitalism, and I get it, but I feel like it's gotten to the point now where your bias towards not liking capitalism in companies has overridden like basic logical and critical thinking.
How does she been living for the last 8 years? Like off of what?
I don't. Something.
I mean, you could always have other jobs. I don't know what the hell she was doing. I guess my thing is that I don't like the fact that people were so quick to jump on her defense, but don't want to have that same energy when you find out she's alive. Then all of a sudden everyone gets radio silent and they're like,
don't get me wrong.
Nintendo and them have done some crazy stuff in the past, and I'm just like, we ain't talking about that. We're talking about the fact that she lied openly.
That's the thing. People try to spin it. She just lied. She wanted you to feel sorry, thinking 4,000 was all they offered her, thinking it was lower than that initially, and it worked. And there's a lot of people who probably haven't followed up and still think that's truth. So anyway, let's move on from this topic into a very exciting for me, and I'm afraid to show game footage, even though I never get flagged for game footage.
I don't think what's the game? I guess
Resident Evil 4 Remake.
I don't think you'll be.
Nah, Capcom will do.
Looks.
Capcom kind of moved past it a while ago.
Resident Evil 4 Remake hovers, maybe not the right word. It's on the line between just better visuals for the same game and reimagining. It's in between. It's probably a little closer to staying true to the original. But the more I watched it and listened to Susie talk about it, like there's quite a bit of difference just in what they showed. Like that game looked. I was surprised, first of all, how true to the original that the village chase sequences. There's a little destructible environments weren't there before. The house beforehand was bigger, but the actual running for your life moment, I didn't think they were gonna go for that. I thought they were gonna do a beta or Resident Evil 2 and 3 remake and just go completely different direction, reimagining. They stuck to it, and it looked.
I think I think the
intense.
criticism. I think the criticism from 3 kind of may have changed their mind on how they wanted to handle 4.
Well,
Because three deviates a lot.
And that
from
was
the
the
original.
B team. This is dev team 1 made 7, 2, Village, and now this. So they have a track record. And 3 was done by a secondary team.
You can tell. I hate to say that,
But I think it was just a timing issue. I think that's why they cut a lot of stuff out.
Yeah, because like I think the core of that game is fine. It's just Jesus.
I enjoy the hell of it though, regardless.
And neither of you guys played
I
4,
don't know,
right?
man.
You guys haven't played 4, right?
I haven't played the
I've
original
not.
4. No, I've seen footage of at least
This-
the beginning half
that
of 4.
village
so I
chase
know
scene-
I know about the village chase.
That
scene. That's what I wanted.
captured. They brought me right back to the tension of playing that game on GameCube in 2005. Like, it brought me right freaking back. I didn't think they were going to do that. I thought
I have a
Clocked It was
is
going to
this-
be...
Is this beginning house section in
yeah,
the game?
yep, but it was just a little cabin. You seen the dude is like, as soon as you went around the right corner right here, you would have went right there, and a guy was already there. That's how small the house was.
Okay,
thought-
that's what I thought because I never saw this. So I was like, damn, I don't remember. It's like I've
No,
seen
this is
footage of the
all
beginning of the game. This is a
changed.
lot.
This is way different.
Okay.
I assumed that Clocked It was going to go nuts for this because it captured Resident Evil 4 so perfectly. And I'm still excited about potential improvements and changes. You know, I like being able to slowly move while you aim. I think it's a dated thing to stand still and aim. It just won't feel right in a modern game. I don't think they could have done that. You know, if you want to play that, the original still looks pretty good on the up-res version on PS4 and PC and stuff. But I was like a little worried, and I'm like, damn, they did it. Like, I hope there's a little more changes, that it's not just more one-to-one the rest of the game. But they had the story trailer had the boat sequence for those that played with the harpoons. I didn't show the harpoons, but everything was like, dang, that's the whole game's in there, because it's a big game. For those that don't know, it's like a 20-something hour game.
Yeah.
Maybe if you get through it, you know what you're doing. It's probably way shorter, but you know, first playthrough, trying to find stuff, trying to survive this, it was about 20 hours, maybe 18. It's the biggest Resident Evil game for sure. I don't think it's been topped. Maybe 7 and Village are about the same length.
No, Sen and Villager, I finished 8 in like 9-10 hours.
Really? Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did a lot more exploring. Mine was like 13.
But
14.
even exploring, I mean, like, if I'm being honest, there's not like a ton of exploring in the game. It's not like
I
Not like
did a
me.
lot of
Also, Robert is pretty
backtracking.
known
I
for being
covered
games
every
kinda quick.
corner. I tried to get in every house.
To be fair,
I
Robert's known
dude.
for being
I
really quick.
no. I scavenge for materials when it comes to survival games.
I went back to a house from the very beginning. Like, how do I get in this room? Like, towards the end of the game, like, I think I'm gonna try to get in this room. I finally found a way in. Also, I'm calling it right now. For anybody that's ever seen the show Andromeda and Continuum, those two TV series, Lexa Doig, I guarantee you she's the voice actor for Hunnigan, sorry. It's just so obvious to me, but she's not listed yet. She doesn't have any video game or voice acting credits. I'm saying right now it's Lexa Doig. She was one of my favorites.
Now, I've heard now, to be fair, so from fans I know of this game, they also mentioned this is obviously the transition period where Resident Evil originally kind of took more of an action-oriented role, I guess. Or
This looks more horror, though. This part definitely.
Oh no,
feels
definitely.
more
But
horror.
but I'm just saying. I know for the series, 4 was very much that transition. I guess my question is, do you think they're gonna still keep in some of the cheesiness that this game has?
Well, they already have the roundhouse, which I was kind of.
Roundhouse is fucking great.
I was kind of bummed because.
Come on, bro.
I never liked the jumping out the window or the roundhouse.
But the roundhouse is hard as fuck, man.
It looks
To me,
way better in this, and the suplex is probably in here too, which has always been into my.
I'm 100%
I always thought it was ridiculous.
I don't think that's a bad.
Here we go,
kick,
roundhouse.
man. Jaeger. Oh, that's great. I don't even know what anyone says. That's great.
You couldn't do this before. You couldn't light a cow on fire.
That's actually hilarious, by the way.
Hey yo.
I was actually a little
Taylor.
bummed to see the round. I ain't
That's
gonna
smoked
lie.
beef.
The
Why?
window jumping is if you've seen 5 or 6 at all, especially 6, they go so all in with jumping through windows with Leon in 6 that it's like it was like a fetish or something, or a joke. I don't know. To me, it's just I never liked. It's just one of those things that I just always. It always brings me out of it. In movies and stuff too. It's like, you know how hard it is to jump through fucking glass. Like,
real quick, was that guy with the chainsaw? Was he killable? Because in this footage,
he
never seems to die. He never seems to die.
I'm trying to remember. I think if you use like if you land like every shotgun shot. What?
I don't know. I love how this man ran up on me and swung at me.
Yeah.
He hit me. He jaw checked me and said, "Fuck it, get him." Like what?
I think if you land every shotgun shot and pistol shot, maybe you can kill the chainsaw guy. I can't remember.
This motherfucker just keeps going. This also seems like an automated section here.
I'll also say that I've never actually seen like beyond this part. I've only seen. That's why I always thought Resident Evil 4 was literally just a village.
Dude. This is like the opening 20 minutes of the game.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
it's like a 20-hour game.
I actively don't watch.
Because why is it that I guess it's just so memorable, that part. I guess people love that part.
It's very iconic. It's very iconic.
And you couldn't parry the chainsaw originally, so
that's kind of hard. Although it doesn't make any fucking sense, but it's hard as fuck. I very much believe they're gonna still stick to kind of its action roots.
I don't know everything.
It's fun.
I would say it looks way more horror than
there's
the
new
original
footage
game.
in this trailer, by the way. I thought from what I saw.
Like there's way more horror in this what they're showing here than the original game was. It still had some scary spots, but just has this is what I don't want to get into any debate about it, but I feel personally that the horror genre out of all the genres benefits the most, maybe like racing games, I guess, benefits the most out of a graphical leap when it comes to remakes. I think the horror genre
I wouldn't disagree
atmosphere
with that.
Because the lighting,
I wouldn't disagree with that.
It's way scarier when stuff looks more realistic. You're not going to see a cel-shaded horror game be really that scary. I mean, Alien Isolation was creepy because the damn looked like a real alien was going after.
Yeah.
What was that other game that Alien Isolation kind of felt similar to, with the you're using the camcorder. Night vision. No, with the night vision.
Outlast.
Oh yeah,
intense.
So to me,
they redesigned
even though it stays more true to the original than I was kind of hoping for based on what I'm seeing, I think a visual leap does way more for horror games, just like with Dead Space. Like Dead Space, great game. Hopefully it plays as good, but if you look back at it, by even on like PC running at high settings, it looks like an early 360 game still.
Man, I still think it looks really good though.
It looks good, but it's like it doesn't look real. You're not like, oh my god. I was creeped out by the noise, the sounds and stuff, but the more realistic a horror game looks, the more creepy it can be. Doesn't mean it's gonna be good, but when you take a already good game and you just make it look super realistic, I think that automatically adds to the atmosphere and tension. So
it is good to see that it's more horror-esque, because the thing I also hear about 4 a lot is that 4 was very much the transition out of horror and more into just straight action.
Yeah, yep. For sure.
And 4, from what I keep hearing from people, is still a balance of both, but it definitely leans closer to action, whereas 5 and 6 are just straight action. Like people openly have told me 5 and 6 aren't
6,
scary.
I didn't even play 6. Lenny, that's a good point. Hopefully they get rid of the quick time. I hope they get rid of the quick time event boss fight and some of the quick time event stuff.
Yeah,
they can go. They can get away from. I don't want. They showed the boat. They showed the creature in the lake. That was always kind of a like. he has endless like giant harpoons. It's like, where the fuck are these coming from? It's just kind of one of those video gamey moments that took you out of the took me like, all right, I'm playing a video game instead of like I'm scared and thinking like.
See, the problem is when the quick time events were first put in, it was kind of like a cool thing because it was still a new concept.
Yeah.
Now, quick time events have burnt everybody out. No one fucking likes them. Most games that had them in their first games don't have, like, for actually, ironic enough, it ties in. Bayonetta 1 had a fuck ton of quick time events that people couldn't stand because it was so fucking tight and you lose a whole run off of that shit. And then the later games just took them out completely. So I would think that 4 would do something similar, just get rid of them or just make them a different type of event. Because if you don't, actually just make them more like traditional boss fights. The fuck? Like, come on. Or if you're going to have them in there, use them very sparingly. Like, use them maybe in 1 or 2 sections, if that.
But yeah, then you had one thing I always kind of thought was silly is because you had this over the shoulder, you had this red dot sight, and I think was it dual analog, or do you hold a button and use the left stick to aim? I'm trying to remember. It's been so long. I haven't played my GameCube version in forever. I'm guessing because you can't move and shoot that you held down the trigger and then your left stick was your aim. And I can understand it. They're like, all right, we have this new perspective. You can free aim now. What should we do? Oh, let's have them shoot axes out of the air. Let's have them shoot projectiles out of the air. That's a way to use the shooting mechanic. I always hated that. I hated that shit because it's so hard to hit them. You know, didn't have aim assist or anything. It was hard to pull off those shots, and it felt like a light gun game or something with an analog stick. I kind of hope that's not in there, but maybe they'll do it.
I guess that's right, because this was the first game that had that gameplay style where like you were, instead of it, because remember up until that point, Resident Evil was very much like what do you call it, like a locked in camera where it would lock in an area and you go from area to area and the camera would shift and shit. Yeah, fixed camera.
And speaking of camera, I gotta turn mine off.
This was the first game that didn't have that. Like, Resident Evil 4 is iconic for a lot of different reasons, but part of it was because this was the first time we got what most people consider, like, to me, it's my preferred. If I'm gonna play Resident Evil, I'd rather play it in the way the remake did it, and Remake 2 and Remake 3 did it. That third person.
Yeah, you already played 2 and 3, so you're gonna be more familiar with the controls and stuff.
Yeah, because I that's the style of Resident Evil I enjoy. I know there are a lot of fans who still fuck with the fixed camera, and they're like, hey.
Well, Revelations was 3D.
Yeah.
Did it have? I feel like I was always behind JIL.
Yeah, it was
you were behind JIL.
Everyone said that was a throwback, but it didn't have the fixed cameras.
No,
yeah.
I think they meant it was a throwback versus,
because it went more towards the survival horror again. Because Evidence 6 was like
that's the thing.
Compared to 6, but still, I didn't think Revelations.
Well, even 5 isn't, from what I've seen, 5 isn't scary. 5 takes place in the daytime, for God's sakes.
Yeah, I only played like the demo or opening area of 5. They tried to force the co-op thing, and they definitely lost their way. So
that's why people view Revelations as a back to at least the survival.
I hate I just didn't like the structure with the episodic stuff, and
and it didn't help that, like, unfortunately, I always talk about it. Games that were made for like the 3DS and Vita, when you put them on console, don't hold up in the same way anymore, because you can tell those games are severely limited by the fact that they were on the 3DS and Vita. Like, if you've ever played a game that went, oh, here's their HD port to the PS4 and Xbox, and you play and you're like, damn, this seems really fucking basic. Well, of course, because it was originally made for a handheld that you were playing in spurts.
I mean, hey man, I would disagree because I play it on a big screen.
No, I'm not saying it. I'm just saying
that alone already is more fun.
I'm just saying the game tends to not be as appealing on a console versus a handheld, because on a handheld it's impressive that you did all this on a handheld.
Mm-hmm.
On a console, you're like, oh, this seems kind of basic.
Yeah, it felt like a handheld game. I got to the end.
Exactly.
I got to the end and I didn't have enough ammo to defeat the boss, and I didn't have an older save file to go to. So I just had to give up, or I wasn't going to start over. So that was kind of a bummer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I still want to play Revelations. I
Two's
have it.
two's okay. I started that about 5 hours, but I'll see you later, Donnie.
Later, Donnie.
I don't mind a Dark
Right.
Souls like fight. If they want to get rid of QT quick time events, like have it be. I don't know if he's gonna have a dodge roll or anything. There's some stealth they showed that's not in the original. Or a crouch.
They might. I mean, if anything, it'll just lead to them being more creative with how they do some of those sections that were originally quick time events.
We'll
Because now you
see.
get it.
For you guys, so
The game comes out kind of quick though. I don't know why. I didn't
this
expect
is
it to
one of
come out
those
that early.
situations where I'll have to wait to play it. If I'll say, yeah, just play the remake. You don't. It's close enough
Where you might as well just wait.
where I mean, just to the original game, that opening they showed, that's close enough to make me say, pause a little bit. But you could like, it's because it's not so different. Like Susie, she is a purist. She's a Resident Evil purist. She'll tell everybody and anybody the original Resident Evil 2 is better than the remake. She loves the remake, but she'll say go play the original. But they're so different. It's like playing two different games.
Yeah.
So telling somebody go play Resident Evil 4 original versus remake being so similar, it's going to be a little less. It's going to be harder to say, yeah, they're two different games. You can play and appreciate each one.
Is 2 that different?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
the
you play with
fixed
the stupid
camera and
fixed camera. You
and
can't
just-
see what you're shooting. Like, some of the puzzles were different, are the same, but majority of them are different.
Gotcha.
It's like you're going from, I mean, yeah, you'd
I
have to.
played Resident Evil 3 Nemesis on GameCube for like 5 minutes just to make sure the disc works, and I'm like, yeah, it's a big difference.
Yeah.
It's a mess.
No, three I already knew wasn't
It's
the
the
same
same.
game.
Like-
No, but in Resident Evil 2,
I
the
thought-
same way because of what how
Well,
it
yeah, because of how the game-
controls,
I'm just saying, like-
gameplay wise, everything.
3 had like a bunch of shit in 3 that just wasn't even bothered to be translated over. Whereas I thought 2 was a little bit closer to its original roots. At
But,
least
but I
in
just mean in terms of like, I mean, think
Story-wise,
about
maybe.
the style, like what you're doing, like
Oh, yeah.
the controls.
Well, yeah, because remember,
fixed
because
cameras
Resident
is
Evil's
super different.
beginnings were all fixed camera games up until 4. 4 was the first.
Yeah.
Four is the first game that actually emulates what the remakes have been doing, which is that like this is the game that started it all for them to that transition in gameplay style. Actually,
Honestly, for
that'll
me,
be the reason why. Actually, it's because they're updating Village for that style, for that perspective, and that would be the thing that gets me to play Village. I can't stand.
They still,
first-person
I mean, they
games.
have the demo, but it's probably PS5
Yeah.
only.
Yeah, of course it is.
Look at the. I mean, the pausing was something you had to get used to. That's for sure. This is an N64 too, so I think it'd be a little.
This actually isn't too bad. You know why? Because I've been playing Devil May Cry. The first couple of Devil May Cry. Actually, even Devil May Cry 4 does this dumb shit where it's a fixed camera. And
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah.
oh, yeah, Devil May Cry.
I didn't know.
Yeah. Say what?
I didn't know Devil May Cry 4 all the way to
Yeah,
4 days. ago.
and Devil May Cry 4 is a PS3 game, and that game does that dumb shit. Like,
Imagine trying to aim like this. Like, how the fuck are you supposed to hit anything?
and I know people who love this version, love this style. They prefer the fixed camera.
I mean, once
They
you,
prefer-
if you know it by heart, yeah. But it is. I mean, I loved, dude. Trust me, I beat the original game on rental to like 2 rentals. Like me and my buddy, I had him bring his PlayStation over so I could play it, so I could rent it and play the game. And we thought the door opening shit was so cool, and we were freaked out. And I don't remember what I played from 2, to be honest. So it's hard for me to say. I might have played like a demo disc or something. I don't even remember at this point.
Yeah, I remember. I actually know all these areas from the remake. I was just
Yeah, I
playing.
still think
It's a similar
this
layout.
could be still I know you say like
But
the more
gameplay-
graphical, but I think that could still be
gameplay-wise-
intense where you're still like, fuck, I'm trying to aim my thing.
Well, that's
You
what
know?
makes it intense.
But is it intense because the game's
It's
fucking
intense
you over?
because it's hard to know if you're gonna fucking actually hit what, and you're
Yeah.
gonna waste ammo.
Well, also, you got the zombie kind of right
Yeah.
behind you, like, oh fuck, you have technically limited movement, you know.
It's more
the
challenging
camera thing.
and
I
based
get
on
it.
the perspective and the controls than it is like, that's what adds to it. So in a way, it does provide a different sense of tension because of the challenge of trying to frickin' shoot these things.
Yeah.
I know exactly where she's at. It looks completely different though. That's where that
Oh,
thing
this is
busts through the
the
window to the right, going up the stairs. There should be a room, or they, unless they added it, a safe room right where they're
yeah.
go right past where they're at.
Jesus Christ. Oh, I didn't even know they gave her that many unique animations
Yeah.
in the original.
See if that
Where you
save
could-
room's there.
Oh, I know where this is. Yeah. There is a safe room right here. The perspective
be.
is fucking me up. That's what's messing me up. The perspective is messing me up. I would have left him alone, realistically. Especially because this game.
Yeah.
Yep. I know exactly where this is. Yep.
That's where you.
That's what I'm saying. Like I thought.
That's where you do the photos.
Yep.
What do you call it?
Yeah, the photo thing is the
Processing.
photo.
What do you
room
call it when you?
I think I know this from fucking Dark Side Chronicles. To be honest with you.
Yeah, see that.
I want to see how similar, because I haven't gone back
Dude,
and looked at this.
That's what I'm saying. 2, I think, kept the general layout the same. It's
Yeah,
just
but
that-
I mean, the gameplay is
whereas
so different.
oh no,
No,
definitely,
this is
definitely.
different. That wasn't there.
Oh, they moved this into its own room. I remember where
Yeah,
this
this wasn't
now.
anywhere near here.
They've what the fuck? Why would you? What the?
This
hell
is the kind of
this?
stuff you had to do in Resident Evil games, and it's like trying to line up, pushing shit.
Oh my god, she's. Yeah, they did. Oh, because he has the ruby. The ruby's in like a completely different place in the remake. It's like on the other side of the building.
But anyway.
It's interesting. I fucking.
But like that goes to what I said though. Like Susie said, you play this, it's like you played a different game than the new one, you know. So 4 looks like it's gonna be like, if you played one, then if you played the new one and the original, you're gonna be like, yeah, these are just the same game, you know. It's like it loses that aspect where both can exist completely unique from another. So.
For sure.
But
did you like the fixed camera layout, or do you prefer like the free?
I never own. Well, I own Code Veronica was full 3D, but it still had fixed camera perspectives.
Yeah.
But I never owned any of those, so I can't say I loved them. I have a memory.
I unfortunately my only fixed camera perspective games I can use as a basis is fucking DMC, and DMC is a very different game in terms of how it's designed. But I'll say for those games, that shit, I think it got better as the games went on because they gave you wider areas. But like I remember DMC 1 is a bitch because you literally, and the fact that your controls change as you go through these different areas. So like I'll be walking down a hall and then the camera flips and then I'm holding up still and it'll maintain it. But as soon as I let go of it, now I gotta hold it a new direction because I'm in a different perspective. That shit bugs the fuck out of me because I'm like, I get why it's happening, but I'm almost like, why are so many camera switches down like one corridor? It's not like I can go down a hall and everything's fine. Because as soon as I hit the corner, boom! Like what the fuck? Like
now I'm gonna hate this episode, man.
Yeah, for Terrell, I'm gonna say since you played 2 and 3 remake, you might as well just go into 4 remake because they're trying to keep the continuity. They said they wanted, because fans always cried about the lack of continuity with the sequels. You might as well just wait for the remake and have that be.
I was going to anyway.
And maybe someday you go back and play the original.
I think that's what I'm gonna do. Resident Evil's a weird situation because I don't even know what possessed me to get 2. I don't remember what we had that conversation, and I think you had bought 2 remake first, didn't you, Juice? And I think you just
I pre-ordered that shit.
Yeah, you raved about it. I was like, you know what? Fuck it.
Barely could get anybody else to buy it. Clacked it, buys it, plays it, never said a word. I'm like, dude, what'd you think of that? 7 out of 10? He's like, 9 out of 10. I'm like, are you really? Like, you like that? 9 out of 10? You never once mentioned it. So we kind of had a little private chat about that. And I was like, really? By every time I brought it up, I felt like you didn't like it. So I was assuming you thought it was okay or average. So when he said 9 out of 10, I was like, damn, okay, that says a lot.
Yeah, dude.
That's a high score.
I was surprised it got me to go back. Like, just side note, I've been replaying it recently. Like, I was playing it on Steam. Like, what was that? A week ago?
You play any mods in there? Play with any mods?
I've been I not yet. But I'm probably gonna. There's a couple I've been thinking about putting on there.
Here's what. Get into another off topic kind of thing. I like the mods. All right, let's put a better outfit, a classic outfit on Jill or Claire. Then I seen somebody basically just kept the head and had this ridiculous, double D anime chick body. I'm just like, to me, I can't, that doesn't work for me. Just put Claire, Jill, keep the same character model, just change the costume to a classic costume or something. There's a Lara Croft, I think it was Rise of the Tomb Raider. They had her in like black booty shorts and a tank top or something. I'm like,
So
that to me, like, that's fine. But then you see the more ridiculous ones, and it's like, come on.
oh
guys.
no, there's one I want Robert to play. I feel like he would crack up on. Have you seen Robert? I don't know if you've seen it. There's two of them. There's the X gonna give it to you mod, where every time X shows up, it actually plays DMX's X gonna give it to you. There's that one, and the one I think you were laughing your ass off on. Huh?
You see the Sephiroth version?
The Sephiroth one is hilarious,
That's
but the
funny,
other one I was gonna bring up is the Thomas the Tank Engine
Oh, I
version.
saw
Oh,
that.
yeah.
That one is the worst. They switched out Mr. X with fucking Thomas the Tank Engine.
He just comes in like that, like a
And
giant.
he just starts floating on the thing. So you get to the point where he lifts up the helicopter, and you're just like, oh god.
Yeah. And Lightning, my favorite Resident Evil game is Resident Evil 2 Remake, followed by Resident Evil 4. So I'm thinking Resident Evil 4 Remake, if it's as good as I hope, could be the new number one for me.
What would be your third favorite?
Oh shit! Probably RE Remake on GameCube.
I do want to play that one. I've heard good things.
Code
about that one.
Veronica, the original.
So wait, quick
Oh, wait,
question.
I forgot about
Where's
Village.
Where's 7 and 8?
Let me think. Maybe Code Veronica Village original 7. I never finished 2 or 3 original. I never played 5 or 6. So I played Resident Evil or Revelations 1 and 2. Neither of those are near the top half.
Probably. I just felt like Village maybe would have been higher or something.
Nah, it's okay. Maybe the third person.
I remember you said you were kind of disappointed by Village because you said like,
I really
I
enjoyed
like
Village
the
a lot.
opening, the castle segment.
Yeah,
I thought was amazing.
You know
Yeah,
what bothered
castle section
when you said that to me? You know what I felt? I felt like it's gonna be the problem I had with 3. Where the beginning of 3 I think is really good,
It is.
and then to me it gets progressively worse, and I'm like, fuck. I was like, oh, I don't want Village to be like that. And
I
then
did have some
looked at-
fond memories of 3 though. Overall,
I think 3's beginning to me was really good. So it
Yeah, I
bummed
don't
me
know,
out.
man. I did you not have fun or something? I had fun.
I'm not gonna say I didn't have fun with the.
three. Like,
So just to give
Which
context,
one
it's not
did-
that- What?
which one had like the subterranean area where you're like? I think it was 3. Somebody was hurt.
No, that was 2.
That was-
'Cause Ada was hurt.
No, it wasn't that
you
one.
talking about were you in the hospital?
You're in
or
like
whatever, and
you
taken
were
out?
in like tunnels. Like I want to say it's a sewer system.
Yeah, I think
That
you're
would
talking
be
about 3.
2 though.
I think
2
you're
has
talking
the
about 3.
Was
2
it?
has the sewer system.
I
Are you
think.
talking about where you're in the sewer system as
Which one had the alligator chasing you?
That was 2.
That was
Oh,
2.
that's not 3.
Yeah, it's 2. You're talking about 2.
Okay.
An alligator chase you?
Yeah, it's a short. It's a short.
You are in the sewer though for 3 for a decent.
No, you are.
decent point.
You're right. You're right.
I
Robert.
think I'm
You are.
combining the 2 games into like one memory.
Because so there is. I know what Robert's talking about. There is a
I
subterranean
mean,
area.
I don't remember a giant alligator like a
the
massive.
That's in
giant
2.
alligator-
That's in 2 for sure.
Yeah, that's a 2 thing. 2 has.
What
you
did
get chased by.
because when you end up fighting
3 has the 3
that
sewer
thing-
section isn't bad though, because I fuck with it. The problem I have with it is that it features similar enemies from the second game, so like I guess that the fear isn't as heavy for that one for
It
me.
kinda-
didn't 3
feels a
have like
little
some
repetitive.
weird like
It's like those they're like the big blob monsters.
See, I
Those-
didn't play 2.
Mm.
I played 3, so that's why.
oh you didn't play 2?
2 is great. I think you would enjoy 2 more than 3 personally. That's
2 is
that's
just
me.
like the perfect blend of the original Resident Evil
It's
feel with
such a-
RE4's.
It's such a
style.
good game. I was playing Claire's section because I didn't do Claire first in my first playthrough. I did Leon first. So some of the changes threw me off. Like X is way more aggressive in Claire's story for some fucking reason. It fucking threw me off. I was like, why are you already running after me? And we're only in like the first portion of the game. Good God. But yeah, 3. I don't think, and don't get it twisted, Rob. I don't think 3's bad. 3, I think, just gets. I think 3's too short. That's my first issue with it.
The
And then my second
hospital
issue-
part was definitely the bummer part. Like that brought the game down for me.
Yeah, you talking about
With,
stuff with Carlos?
Carlos.
Well, because you lose like a bunch of cool weapons and fucking. He gets like he gets those fucking one-hit kill enemies. Those fucking what are they called? Those best
Like
okay,
the ones that run up and just slash
Yeah.
you, and then that's just an instant death. I'm like, this is like I remember I got
Right,
stuck.
that's
I got
right.
stuck
I
in a
remember that.
section. There's a section where they're in like this hospital room. There's like 2 of them,
Mm-hmm.
and they're behind the beds and shit. And as soon as you walk in the room, they come at you.
Yeah, that's right.
And
You
all
gotta
they gotta
learn the
do-
Resident Evil run tactic. That's what you need to learn.
Well, unfortunately, they're to me they're too damn quick to really run, and they're introduced in the hospital. So I was like, holy shit, this is.
Yeah, and I don't like the horde section, the horde mode section.
The horror section, I don't like because I don't think 3 is really designed around.
But
it,
apparently the
personally.
original wasn't more actiony, so that's kind of true.
I like Jill's like dodge. That dodge I fuck with heavy
Yeah.
for Jill, but I didn't like losing. Like I guess with 2, and 2 does make you switch characters too between like Sherry and Claire, and then Leon. You switch to Ada and shit. But like switching to Carlos, I don't think was as much of a downgrade. It's just that they gave him harder enemies with less weapons because he doesn't get a lot of new shit. He's just fucking.
The best part
rocking-
of 3 was the way those plants attacked Jill.
That was such a weird thing. It threw me off the first. I'm like, bitch, you should be dead. Like what?
They get very into.
Let's just say they dropped some seeds in her belly.
Yeah.
Why you say it like that, dog?
It's funny that it's just like they were just, hey, porn mod community, here you go. We're gonna do half the work for you. You already have the animation of something being jammed down her throat. Like they had to know.
I love the like. That's why I'm looking forward to see what they do with Callisto Protocol. Just crazy death animations. Like,
I'm excited, but I'm also a little worried because anytime a former people working on a game have their own game, it's not always a home run or perfect scenario. So it
What do you
looks
mean?
great.
Ukulele is a better platform than Mario Odyssey.
Yeah, and it's like look at Mighty Number 9. I know those are all just the bad examples, but
We don't talk about.
I'm not ready to say Callisto Protocol's like deserve it of the Dead Space, especially Dead Space 1, but 2 was really close.
For sure.
So I that's gonna be one where I need to listen to what people say, what they're saying about it, not their opinion, but just describe the game and how it works.
Yeah.
Because some of the stuff, like Dead Space didn't have unless I'm forgetting, didn't have any kind of telekinesis shit. Maybe it had a gravity. There's so many games with so many different abilities. Like Half-Life 2 has a gravity gun. No, you did have, yeah. Dead Space did have a telekinesis like move. I can't remember if it was a gun or an actual ability that you get. Because I would use the limbs you'd shoot the limbs off the main dudes that attacked you with these like praying mantis like arms.
Yeah.
And you shoot the limbs off, and then you pick the limb up and you throw it at the next one. You can get free kills without using ammo by using like a gravity gun. Pick it up and you shoot it out, like So it was a gravity gun. It wasn't an ability. It looks like in Callisto Protocol, it's a telekinesis like ability or something. But anyway, that hopefully that's great because this year, I mean, I didn't even count that, and that comes out December. Unless it gets delayed again, or it gets delayed. I'm like, shit. Well, there's another game to add to the 2022 list that I got to try to get.
There's been a lot. Like realistically, the next couple of weeks it's just games after games. Like I said, Mario Rabbids was last week. Bayonetta's this week. I think next week is God of War's the week after next. I think, right?
No, it's the 8th. So
yeah, it's the week after next.
Be 2
Actually,
weeks.
Sonic's also on that week. So just to have his game, I have my game. And then the
buying
week after
that?
that, what Sonic?
You
Yeah.
buying that trash?
First off, we listen. All right, listen. We gotta. I've seen some of the recent previews. We could have talked about that realistically.
What
I've seen some
about
of
the
those
new
things.
footage of Scarlet and Violet? Because that shit looked like day one to me.
Oh no, that. Oh no, yeah, but that's the week after. Son.
I know,
That's the
but
week
does that new footage they showed? We didn't talk about it before.
I mean, I'm surprised. I'm more surprised you're interested in it than anything. Like we all, like Pokemon's almost a default for me. Whether that's a good or
Nothing you
bad
saw
thing.
was like, yes, that's exactly the type of game
The only thing I
I
don't
wanted.
like, I've seen the previews for Pokemon. The only thing I really don't like that I've heard from the previews, it has nothing to do with like what the game's doing visually or what like the mechanics. So they let you go to any gym in any order. That's great. You know what they did? They fucked that up.
They
said,
didn't
"Hey,
scale it.
we didn't scale the fucking levels of difficulty." And I'm like, bro,
So
then
why
what's the
make it
point
so you can go in any order?
because that means if I do it, if the only real way, the best way to do it would be to just do it in the one specific order that makes sense. Or if I want to be a maverick and go for the hardest gym first, and then the rest of the game is just a joke afterwards. So I'm like, I don't understand why you didn't scale the difficulty. To me, that's like common sense. But everything else about the game is fucking great. But that gym thing does bother me because that means I have to play the gym in a certain order to get the most out of the difficulty.
One
And I hope
thing,
the game at least tells me who's harder.
the thing that jumped out to me was, I think it said true open world Pokemon. So I don't think there's segregated like loading screens. And then
No.
it says
There's no towns.
your
technically.
battles take place exactly where you are. Like you don't get teleported to some random background.
That Let's Go feature, where you can just hit a button and just start a quick fight with a Pokemon and just beat it and then just get shit. I fuck with that a lot because that means if I wanted to grind levels instead of having to go through the full animations and everything of, oh, it's a battle, dun, 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 they're here to throw out. You're just doing it quickly. I also like the item crafting that I can just create TMs on the fly as long as I have the right items and stuff. It very much is trying to embrace its like wilderness nature, and I appreciate it. It's things that like Arceus did, where Arceus was like, you can't just get Pokeballs. You got to bring me the proper acorns and shit to make the ball you want to make. And I'm like, that's cool. I like that stuff. So literally everything else about the game I'm pretty positive on, except for the fact that you didn't scale my difficulty. I'm like, come on. Especially because Pokemon for some reason doesn't want to give me a hard mode. And I'm like, give me a hard mode. That's all I'm asking you for.
Do you think this Pokemon, what they've done, what they've shown, is the direction that they should have gone, and maybe Sword and Shield could have been this, or do you think that are you still glad that Sword and Shield was kind of the in-between game?
I like that Sword and Shield's the in-between game because it very much felt like they were trying to figure out what they wanted to do. And then when I got the DLC very much was closer to the type of world design I wanted. And then I've seen the world design in this game, and I'm like, okay, so you essentially incrementally built up to it. And I'm like, that shows like proper progression, and it looks nice. So I appreciate what Sword and Shield is. I know a lot of people. The community absolutely dogpiles Sword and Shield. Sword and Shield, I think, as time goes on, will get the more credit it deserves. But I'm 100% cool with the way it was. The only thing I didn't like about Sword and Shield is that the main routes were linear as fuck. Like people like I still say the worst thing I ever saw in that game was when you walked down a path, there was like a little divot that you could go maybe like 2 feet, and there was a Pokeball sitting there, and a guy would stand out there and be like, "Hey man, you're really good about going off." It's like you were really explorative going off their beaten path. I'm like, it's literally 2 feet, man. Like the fuck, like I understand linear gameplay, but don't sit there and try to patronize me at like, yeah, you're really explorative, aren't you? It's 2 feet. Like, fuck you.
So if that game is what I'm hoping, I mean, honestly, I could hit 300 hours on Switch. Probably not before they do the cutoff, because that's like mid-December where they give out your numbers. But for like till the end of the year, because I just crossed 105 hours in Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I had close to 70 in the definitive edition of Xenoblade. And with Bayonetta 3, potentially could be, I'm going to say between 20 and 40 hours for sure. And then Pokemon could potentially be another 100-hour game. And Arceus was 50. Like, I'm going to go from double digits, the last 2 years for sure on Switch, maybe 3. I think I had just over 100 in 2019. What was it, like 59 in 2020 or something? Last year was like 80 something. And then this year, it could potentially be a 300-hour plus year for me on Switch. And so I finished Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Dark Souls
I can't
right?
say objectively, but if you're just looking at it from a storytelling standpoint of it making sense, there's not a lot of what I call gobbledygook, or T might say, like shit out of nowhere. All of a sudden you're getting this long explanation of how this world was created and all this stuff. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Everything in 3 that they set up, nothing comes at you like, oh my god, that's just like, where did this come from? Each chapter builds up. At the end just makes clear sense. I mean, it just, everything you thought was like, you knew where you were going with the story after each chapter, and it got there and you did it. There was no, like with 2, like I have no fucking deal. Like some dude was on like a space station and he activated something, to create a universe, whatever it was, I forget.
To be fair, that's actually a reference in like the first game, which
it does.
Now which you don't know, we didn't know because we didn't play the first.
It just come out. It was almost like if anybody, for those that are older, that grew up excited for The Matrix Reloaded, and you went there like I did at the opening midnight showing, and you sat through 30 minutes of the dude giving expository dialogue on how the Matrix was created in this very monotone, boring ass. That's kind of what Xenoblade Chronicles 2 did for me. I was like, what the fuck is all this? Like, I just don't care.
It does start with narration.
So anyway,
actually, Rex is the one narrating now.
3, it was a very cohesive, well built up to story with, with an ending that, everything just, without saying any more, it's not like there wasn't some cool surprises or things they didn't expect, but it just made sense is what I'm saying. And apparently there's, with the queens, I don't know, Terrell, you know what the queens are.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know the queens are before you even play the game.
Apparently there's some quest or something. The post game is right before you save, right before you find the final fight. You can't continue afterwards. You go back to that same file.
It's the others.
Yeah, but apparently it did open up some quests. So I gotta go do that. If I play for another 10 hours, it'll surpass Mario Maker or Splatoon 2, and be my number 5 most played Switch game. I can't believe
you play that much Splatoon 2, man.
So I gotta keep playing a little bit more. I will say, here's my complaints, because I still think X is the better game. The world exploration, the combat. 2's combat is probably my favorite, though.
Oh, wow.
3's would be 3rd or 4th. I like it until they add the chain attack system, and that shit is it's just the same thing every time. There's no pressure. I could go, make a sandwich and come back, and it's waiting for me to take an action. Like in 2, at least you had the timing. You had the orbs flying around that you had to break. There was. I really enjoyed I kept doing the combat in X and 2. I would say they're pretty close. With 3, I don't ever want to do a chain attack ever again. I started skipping them if the enemy's health was low enough. He's like, no, I'm just go Ouroboros. I'm going to try to beat. I don't want to go to another chain attack. It's going to be another 5 minutes if I do. So it's not like a deal breaker. And I really enjoyed the majority of the combat. But after a while, it's just like, yeah, there's a little bit of strategy depending on your hero you have. I don't want to sit here in this menu again and hear the same music over and over. So that was a gripe. The repeating lines after a battle just started to drive me nuts. Good job, Senna. What she say? I'm the girl with the gall. Like out of nowhere. What does that mean? What does that mean? And why do you say it every fucking time?
What's the one where Lance
You hear
was
that,
like,
Noah? Lance wants something a bit meatier.
Yeah, that's the one I always hear.
And then there is I'm the MVP. You're all thinking it, or something like that. And it's just like,
that's Lance.
I don't need to hear these after every battle. Like literally after every battle, you have to
for some
hear
reason,
one.
Threes feel more redundant than twos does.
And then like the whole shouting at the same time, they actually made that work because the character you play as is the one you hear more.
Like they boost the audio.
And it's even better when you play as their original class. Mio's is way better. Her class, it's like she had way more enthusiasm for shouting out her arts than some of the other ones. But just I would say it's a smaller gripe because overall I really did enjoy most of the fights and the battles. I fought a lot of battles trying to level up and stuff. I didn't avoid too much till the end. Went through the whole last section. I tried to avoid every fight as possible. I was just kind of done with it at that point. It's not bad. It's just after 100 hours, it's just kind of the same. Every battle felt very similar. So I gotta give 2 its credit. 2 and X definitely preferred the battle system. The voice over and over stuff drives me nuts, and that's pretty much it. The map system was so much better than 2's. The visuals, the art direction, the character models, not just the attractive ones, but all of them, it was very cohesive. I really like the style of almost every character. Did you get to Gondor yet, Terrell?
What was it?
The character. She's a little over the top. She's kind of a little bit annoying at times, but
I don't think I've gotten.
You'd know right away.
Yeah, I don't recognize the name. That's why I was like, I don't think that's.
Just the character designs are really well done. The world.
I'll give you where I'm at. I just got access to the boat. That's where I got.
You should know Gondor then. Oh wait, you're heading to the prison, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you don't know Gondor, but the boat area, for those that have seen the trailer, this is a spoiler because it's in the second trailer. That feels like the main game starts there to me, because that area is huge. There's so much to explore. That honestly almost feels like the majority of the game for me. Like the other areas I went back to, I was like, let me go back to the main area with the boat. There's some cool stuff to find there. So yeah, it's a great game though. I mean, if I had to, I don't know if I'd give it a grade without thinking about it harder. It's not below an 8.5. It's probably closer to a 9.
What, like an 8.7 or something? 8.8?
If I go I don't know. I'd have to think about it more, play a little bit more of the post content, see what I feel. But I'd say it still could be my second favorite though, out of the series overall. Mio is still my favorite character. Uni's, it's hard not to like her. I didn't do the swimsuits. I didn't buy the DLC.
I'm surprised.
Apparently there's I missed the part where the DLC described a big story expansion. So, because I didn't pay much attention, to be honest. Somebody called me out on it last week, but...
You enjoyed enough to want to get the future expansion when they do some DLC?
I'm not big on DLC. I don't...
Yeah, I mean, I'm not either, but that's...
I'm just debating the Village DLC, too. Yeah. What spoilers? That there's a freaking boat? Or that there was a prison? I mean, if that's a spoiler, you tell me what, I'm sorry.
But I don't know. For me, two DLC was just worth it just for fucking Torna, let alone like some of the cool extra. I actually fuck with the extra blades in 2's DLC. The only one I don't like is the one that kind of fucks up the plot for one of the characters in 2, which is it's called the Poppy Buster blade. And I was like, oh, so the whole thing about Tora's grandfather getting shot and dying is like, it's true, but he's just not dead. And I'm like,
they retcon it.
Essentially, when you meet his grandfather, but his grandfather has amnesia and has like a robot. Half his face is robot. So he did get shot. He just
spoilers, Terrell. Spoilers.
No, fuck. It's the DLC. That's the only reason why.
You have to pay for these spoilers.
And the problem I have is that the fucking Poppy Buster armor is like the least visually unique. It's literally a giant mech with a fake Poppy in the middle of it. And I'm like, that's weak. Now the other ones we get like Crowset and you get fucking Telos from the Xenogear series. I was like, all right, that's nice. That's nice.
So you know who the queens are in 3.
Yeah. You know, well, I knew
Let me
who the
just-
queens were. I knew who the queens were before the game.
Yeah, before the game came out. Let me just tell you, I'd love to see your reaction when their masks come off.
I'm gonna tell you right now, though, the scene that fucked me up, and it's on stream, is the scene when you find out about all right, so it's the one where you first you infiltrate the castle and you meet like one of the queens, quote unquote.
Don't spoil it, but I know what you're talking about.
You fight her, and then you get the reveal at the end of it, and you're like, and I sat there, I was blown away. I was like, what the fuck am I looking at? I was like, what the hell is this? And people will tell you in the chat, I was reeling for a good 10 minutes. I was like, what is happening? And then you see the thing regarding Ethel, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. But it made sense because I'm like, why would you?
Let's just say when
you
you see their real faces, I'd love to hear your thoughts and reaction.
Really?
Because, like I was talking about, the character designs and this art style being consistent, it's magnificent. Let's just say the screenshot button was hit many times. Many times.
I would say, do you prefer the way they look in this game versus the
Oh,
original?
yeah.
Both of them or just one of them?
Melia's like a 11 out of 10 in this game. She was like a 7 or 6 in Definitive Edition.
What about Nia?
She's better, but she's not quite as fine.
Okay. All right.
Melia's might be the most attractive in the series. She is, my God. So sorry for anybody that didn't want to know. They didn't watch the trailer, but
I don't think that's
that's a spoiler. I'm sorry. I know that's a spoiler.
I don't know I would argue that's a spoiler because you've seen the silhouettes of both of them.
As long as if you watch the trailer, then that's not a spoiler. If you
the trailer actually shows pretty much everything but their faces. But if you know their body shapes and their designs, you're like, oh, that's fucking.
And you watch, the opening cutscene of the game, you know Melia's in the damn game. So
yeah, you're like, oh, that's fucking Melia. Oh, that's Nia. And the only spoiler is that they are what we thought they were. We just don't know what they look like. I'm almost expecting.
That was the thing. Is like, all right, what are they gonna look like? And it's like, damn.
I'll keep that in mind.
Damn. I took some screenshots. I wanted to send them to you too, but I was like, nah.
There are other questions I want to ask regarding them, but I don't need to ask them because it's technically, I bet, would be.
Let's just say you'll be happy. You'll be happy at a couple points. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, all right. We'll leave it at. I'm not. If I ask too many questions, it's gonna be a whole problem. All right, I'm gonna chill out. Oh, side note, I guess I'll say this before we get to the end of the podcast. Bought Mario Rabbids. I got it Saturday. Played like the first 5 or 6 hours. That is a pretty great fucking experience. I have been the animation team really did their thing, especially on a lot of these characters. They're a lot more expressive. I very much appreciate that Peach's running animation is essentially the one where she has her arms out and she runs like she's like a damn airplane. I love the battle system. I've already been like, okay, I see what we're doing here. It's been pretty enjoyable, and I've only done like the first. I don't even know if you call it a world. It's like an area at least. I'm very happy with what I've been playing so far with that. That one is gonna be like an off-stream game anyway, so I'll be playing that casually through my leisure. So knowing me, I'll probably beat that within the next, I don't know, week or so. But
it's crazy to me because I started watching that stream and just my complete lack of interest in that game kicked in. I just like, well, I'm tuning out. I don't know what it is. I just don't care about that game.
It's a very, there's nothing crazy about it. It's one of those like, hey, do you like Mario? Yeah. Well, you might.
But I don't even know how the battle system works. I didn't watch any of it. I've watched almost nothing on the game.
The battle system is because they took it off the grid. It's very much like free moving now. You can just move wherever. It gives you like a circle of where you can move in, and then you can do any type of movement within that circle.
See, I didn't even
like
make it through
and,
Digital Foundry's video. I was like, man, I just don't care about this game. I don't know why, or I don't know what it is. I just don't care. I have zero interest in it. Like,
well, to be fair, Rabbids didn't do nothing for you, and I don't think that gameplay.
The first game was decent.
Yeah, but
I
like
enjoyed it.
But you weren't in love with the.
And I didn't want to play. I didn't feel compelled to play the DLC. So.
Yeah, so for me, I figured you would just be like, all right, like it's cool, it's out, but like that'd be it.
Yeah. Also, I beat Demon Souls, and
yeah, I remember you saying in the chat.
It's close to Bloodborne. Doesn't have the connected worlds where everything kind of circles back to what is it, Yarnum?
Yeah, Yarnum.
Everything's segregated. Each area you go to is completely.
Which do you prefer?
I'd say Bloodborne nudges it overall. Probably a little bit more nudges it, but Demon Souls was great. Sucks though. The new game plus is really. I'm at like level 70. I can't get through the first tough enemy in the first area. I kept dying like 10 times in a row, and then I lost all my souls trying to get back to them. I kind of rushed through and got caught with like 10 different enemies. Damn. And I'm like, oh, I guess I'm done with this game. But I can't wait to like get into Dark Souls now. Like I want to keep going with the series, with the franchise, or with their games. So
you've become a fan.
Dark Souls Remastered be the next
on Switch.
No, hell no.
John, why'd you do that? You knew damn well that was gonna be the case.
So I'm looking forward to more. So
you're trying to get more hours on Switch, man. There you go.
And then Plague Tale might get bumped. I don't know.
Really, I've been hearing a lot of good
people
things.
People say it's good. It's just I started Nier, and I'm like, man, I could play Nier and Bayonetta, kind of similar games, similar controls. I'm not fighting.
And the visuals are apparently very crazy for that game.
Nier has it only matters for one character. Actually, it matters for two characters for Nier.
I will say I'm already feeling bad about killing these robots. I don't know how much you played the game. I'm already feeling bad.
Here's the thing you need to know. Nier also has a fuck ton of endings. There's like at least 5 or 6 of them. Okay, depending on which one you get, and some of which you can get on accident. Like I got a game over. It was considered an ending, but to me it felt like a game over. You know how in some games they'd be like, okay, you need to go do this thing right now. But in some games they don't really push it, so you could technically teleport to a different area and do whatever the hell you want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nier actually punishes you for going like. So I was like, oh, we got to go do this thing real quick. I'm like, well, I'm gonna go back to the first area and get an upgrade real quick. And the game goes, you took too long, and people just died. And I went, oh, and they were like, ending A. It was like ending F completed, and I went, I think I just game over it and it counted it as an ending. What the fuck? Like, so Nier is a very different kind of game. I was
surprised how much 2B talks. For some reason, I thought she's gonna be like silent.
I didn't even know she talks.
She's got a lot of she just sounds like a regular person.
Yeah, she's more normal than you would think she is. But no one cared about 2B talking. You cared about how she looked. I honestly wanted to get the Switch version just for those outfits that you can only get in the Switch version.
Nah.
Some fucking kimonos.
Get the PC version, then you'll have all the outfits.
Oh, the PC version, you're modded to hell. It'd be modded like shit. I'll do a lot more.
Change 2B to Thomas the Tank, man.
I'm not. Listen. You can't do that with every game.
Thomas the Tank Top, man.
By the way, that is also a mod in Resident Evil 3 remake. They did that same fucking mod with Nemesis.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Thomas the Tank Nemesis, and I was like, y'all ain't shit. And that shit don't look right. It don't care.
Anyway, let's get out of here. It's been about 2 hours, so interesting. I'll hear Clocked. I always await his review of the podcast after a couple days.
He's gonna be depressed after this one.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Guaranteed.
Mad as fuck.
He did. I did have to break his heart today. He sent me the ending theme from Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and to me it sounded like music I've heard a dozen times at the end of like a Ghost in the Shell standalone complex episode, or a Ghost in the Shell, or not Cowboy Bebop, or a Studio Ghibli fan. It's just a woman singing over a similar type of music kind of vibe. Fits the game. And I was just like, yeah.
But it doesn't stand out to you.
It does. It just blends in with all the other
Yeah,
Japanese.
I will say
like,
I think
end
two has.
credit
I think
scenes.
I think two has a better soundtrack personally. That's just me though.
I don't care for the main battle music, and it's not terrible, but it's like,
What, in 3?
yeah, it's like
It's all right.
you know.
I don't love it either. It's all right.
Yeah.
I think two has a better soundtrack.
Nier's music is really cool though.
Oh, it's an experience.
That's different. That's something that stands out. Like, you know, orchestrated music sometimes can just all like Demon Souls has some amazing orchestral music, but it doesn't like
kind of
I'm
blends
not
in,
like remembering it specifically,
Yeah.
but I do remember a couple of them where I was like, damn.
Damn.
God of War's
On this one.
Ragnarok trailer, that end by the time that trailer ends and Thor and his axe, Thor's hammer and the Kratos' axe hit, that music to me is like that's top. That's like top tier. Some of the best orchestrated
Speaking of
music I've
God of
heard.
War. Speaking of
But
God
what
of War.
about
Be careful. I've heard there's some casual spoilers of Ragnarok floating around on the
Okay.
Twitters. So be careful.
what about Returnal's
Returnal
music
had some
also
great music too.
with the organ?
Mm-hmm.
Fucking awesome and stuff. Which is great.
Yeah, that shit was amazing. And then he'd stop playing, and the music, the organ would stop, you know, and then
Yeah.
he'd sit down and start playing. All this shit's flying at you. That was cool too. I think the Breath of the Wild trailer, the best trailer. That music to me is probably that might be
Well,
the
we're
best.
talking about like orchestrated. To me, my favorite is the Galaxy games, man. The Galaxy games, like every single especially Super Mario Galaxy 2, when you first land, it's just like holy grand ass orchestra, man.
Yeah, it's great.
Dun, 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 dun.
See, I like it because that was like the first orchestrated music in like a Nintendo game in, I don't know, maybe ever. That might have been the first fully
Probably, yeah.
orchestrated.
I think
But
so.
that's a different vibe from I don't know. Like I respect its quality, but it doesn't get me jazzed up or pumped up.
That shit gets
Not
me
jazzed up,
like,
but pumped up to like, man, this is epic. Like it's not
that shit is fucking epic. You land. Dun, 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 dun,
It's a-
that part, but then everything after that's just kind of fitting.
Fucking Gusty Garden Galaxy.
Perfect for a
Battle-
Mario game,
every
but
single one.
Robert is all in right now.
Perfect for a Mario game, but it's not. It's just not. It's a different vibe than this. Like
Yeah, it's
I don't know.
fucking better than everything. That's why.
the Breath of the Wild
Jesus
trailer. The Breath of the Wild
Christ.
trailer's goosebumps inducing.
Well, yeah,
Galaxy's not
that is literally
Goosebumps.
Goosebumps, but that's for the trailer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and
Like, for the
that's the main
game-
score. That's the main theme to the game. I don't know where you hear it though. In the
Well,
game.
like, but that's what I'm saying. You don't hear it in the game. You know what I mean? I don't remember hearing it in the game.
I think you hear versions of it, especially when you're on a horse. I think you get a version of it.
No, Well, you're talking about the Nintendo Switch one. You talking about the Switch presentation
Yeah.
one, or no?
The what?
The Switch presentation, like that 2017, the January. You talking about that?
No,
one?
well, whatever the big trailer was that everybody loves and reacted to. I don't know when
Yeah,
it aired.
I don't remember ever hearing that. It's one of the greatest songs but I do
Mhm.
think it's in the game, which is the strangest part. It's
I'd be
in
curious.
it's in Smash Brothers, but
Let's look.
it's it. But you know what? They even name it for Smash Bros. It's called Nintendo Switch 2017 presentation trailer. They
Really?
literally call it, yeah, they
I
call
thought
it
that
that.
was a lazy name. They should have been a little more creative.
Because they don't have it. It's not in the fucking game. You know what I mean? That's the thing.
Switch presentation
me out. It trips me-
2017 trailer music. I'm not gonna
Exactly,
play
that's
this.
what I'm saying.
I'm muting it.
It trips me out that you
What?
created. You had this like fucking.
One of the
This-
grandest songs of all time, and it's only used for a trailer.
My
Yeah.
question is, why'd you create original music for the trailer but not put it in the game? That's what confused me. I'm like, what?
Well, that just because that trailer was so
That's
damn
it.
good.
You know, I never
It's-
thought about that. I know we probably talked about it, but that's
we
interesting.
did.
That's
That's-
an interesting concept.
That's
Be
like
hey,
the Ghost of Tsushima music is only in the photo mode. Some of this,
Yep. Yeah.
and
yeah.
that's probably
It's like the best part, the best music in that
that's
game.
probably the best video game music overall. Just the like 5 or 6 of those is just like, damn, I'm just gonna sit in photo mode. Like this shit is amazing. But I get so caught up in the games that I don't hear the music. Like Terrell or not Terrell, Clocked It was like, oh, this music was so good. I was like, I don't remember hearing that in the last fight. Like I wasn't thinking about the music at that point. I'm trying to beat the boss and figure out how to beat him. You know, like
There's someone who gets lost in the battle.
It's like I say this. I've been saying this for years about home theater. I could be like, Robert, come over, listen to this Batmobile chase scene, and you're gonna get so caught up in everything going on. You're not gonna hear when the Penguin's car is going like that. You're not gonna hear the sound of around the room, like above, like literally sounds like the sound is rolling around. I didn't notice it till like the 3rd, 4th time I seen that scene. So you get caught up in the visual and you don't always hear the audio. So,
which is why, since I played Galaxy 10 times, I can confirm that the orchestra music.
And you probably listen to it outside of the game.
Yeah, what's that? Dude, the credits. Come on.
I'm trying to think, other than credits music, I'm trying to think of a moment in my entire gaming career where I was actually playing, not watching a cutscene or anything, and I'm like, damn, this music while I was playing. I do know one, A Link Between Worlds. You go into...
What about like Doom Eternal? That doesn't pump you up when you're playing? Doom Eternal's music is always intense. Where like you just get like really into it because of the music.
That's another one. You know, I'm just going off the top of my head. Link Between Worlds though stands out the most because it's like Kakariko Village. You go into like the bar or whatever, and it's just one person playing like the main theme, and then later on there's like another instrument, another person, and it actually builds. It starts out with just like the guitar main theme of like dun, 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 but it's like a slow, really cool version, and then the more you get into the game, the more the instruments add to it till you get to like the full thing. And that to me
that could be a whole topic in itself.
That really stood out to me as something that's really, worked well within the game, as kind of showed your progress in the game. So anyway, we're gonna get out of here. Thanks for everybody for tuning in. I see some people streamed on Mondays out of the blue, and so I appreciate everybody who joined us, and we'll be back next week. Talk hopefully just about Bayonetta 3 the game, and not any more bullshit with voice acting. And
get shit out of here, Robert.
Bro. We'll see you then.
Hey, how clean it looks. That's what makes me mad, dog.